You know, it's Joe again with another review. I think this video we're going to continue reviewing a couple more James Bond films for you. And this one I'm going to review was considered to be the last Bond film starring Pierce Brosnan. Well, the last of 4 films he did, which is of course the 2002's film Die Another Day. So of course Pierce Brosnan as James Bond, and also stars Halle Berry. You know, she became the first Oscar winner to play a Bond girl. Of course, they had a previous Bond, an Oscar winner playing a Bond villain, which was Christopher Walken in A View to a Kill. This time you have Halle Berry, an Oscar-winning actress, who I think was like the year before just won an Oscar for Monsters Ball. So she came out the same year that she won the Oscar, from 2002 for a 2001 film. And of course, this one has almost a similar plot to what GoldenEye was. It's practically the same plot. Different locations, different villains, but same plot. And the plot is it had to do with a particular satellite that the North Koreans were using, or should I say a son of a North Korean dictator, who was going to use it to destroy South Korea and just destroy the whole, and take over the whole country. And it was using diamonds to control that satellite. For use it for control the laser beam and stuff, or to funnel the laser beam through the diamonds and destroy South Korea. That is the kind of a little plot. And Halle Berry is there for working for instead of a CIA agent, which is usually what they usually do in James Bond films. You use a CIA agent, which was for most of the movie, all of them, was Felix Leiter. At this point during the Pierce Brosnan Bond films, Felix Leiter's character has been pretty much disposed of from License to Kill. The last movie with Timothy Dalton, no more Felix Leiter. So, Felix Leiter didn't die, but he almost died in that one. So they had to come with a new CIA agent. It was Joe Don Baker's character in GoldenEye. And I think he played in another one, the Brosnan films. But this one, he had a national security agency agent played by Halle Berry. So, of course, any movie we have Halle Berry in a bikini, we're saying. Of course, I should also mention at this point that Die Another Day came out on the 40th anniversary year of Dr. No. So you had a lot of references to previous Bond films and previous adventures, it's more of a parody of those adventures, which is something that they really, really didn't have that much, if at all, in previous Bond films. You may have like a sentence, a line of dialogue or two, based on previous adventures, but not, you actually see actual products. You actually see like a model of the James Bond car that was used in Goldfinger, and the Aston Martin DB5. You have the jetpack that was used like it was used in Thunderball, and of course, pretty much say, "Oh, this thing still work." Of course, it does. I should also mention this is the first movie without Desmond Llewellyn in it playing Q, because in the previous film, which was the world is not enough, that's when Desmond Llewellyn passed the torch to John Cleese. And of course, that was also the last movie of Desmond Llewellyn's career, because he died not too long after filming his scenes for that film. So this is the first time we had a brand new Q, in the series, because Desmond Llewellyn was in all the other films, from Rush with Love all the way up to Tomorrow. The World Is Not Enough. He was in every one of those films, Desmond Llewellyn, and he was really the only character who's been in. Or the only actor who's been in the most Bond films. I think the second most is Lois Maxwell, who was the original Moneypenny. I think she played in about half or more than half the films. Like 15 or 16 of the movies, which was a lot. But Desmond Llewellyn, who was a great actor, he was great of whoever, no matter who played Bond, he was great working off the actors whoever played the character of Bond. He was almost, by the end of the run, Desmond Llewellyn did, he was more like the father figure almost. Even more so than Bernard Lee, who died during the Roger Moore era of playing James Bond. Anyway, the plot of Die Another Day, as I mentioned earlier, it has to do with a North Korean, and one of the things that's unique is that you have a pretty long opening sequence, which usually in James Bond films, at least in the Sean Connery ones, he didn't have that long. Maybe 5 minutes. This one was like almost double that, or more than double that. And James Bond is in North Korea, and he tries to buy weapons from a North Korean dictator there, and his son, and he almost kills his son. Anyway, he ends up living, which is part of the convoluted plot of this film. And Bond actually does get captured, and through the whole opening title sequence, with the song that was performed by Madonna, which is a lot of people, and she does make a cameo in this movie, by the way. Madonna does, and people said, "Oh, this was like the worst Bond song ever," the one that Madonna did. Because like a techno sounding song for Die Another Day. That's what made it so lousy. But I don't think it's considered the worst. I think From Rush with Love was the worst. But the worst song, I mean. But anyway, he gets tortured, and the problem with this movie is that after he gets tortured, he somehow gets escaped. He gets exchanged for the son of the general, which is all covered with all the heads of diamonds planted in his face after a bomb goes off. The bomb planted that James Bond plants, in the opening sequence, so they exchange from, and he escaped. And then Bond is in the hospital, and M says, "Oh, no, torture anymore. Your double license has been revoked," and all this other stuff. And then he does end up escaping. Gets into the hotel. He looks like a bum. He has nothing but a robe and boxer shorts, and they give him a room in the hotel, and tries to go after the person who screwed him, and because he felt like there was a snitch, and you do find out who the snitch was. I'm not going to give that part away. You do find out who it was, and then of course he goes after finds out that the son was still alive, who he thought everybody was killed, but he had his face transplant, his DNA resequenced to look like a British citizen. Who I think the actor who played the part was the actor who was in The King's Speech, who played the brother of King Charles VI, who had to give him the throne in that movie. But it was actually wrote, and he switched identities with another guy, and the father finds out, or the North Korean general finds out that the son's actually alive, and then the son kills the father. When that surprise comes up, and of course I can't believe we ran all this time without talking about Halle Berry, but I'll get to her in a minute. Then of course Bond does triumph at the end, and he had this whole thing in Iceland. And another part that makes the story ridiculous was that Q gave him a new Estimorn car with almost the same type of equipment that he had in Goldfinger, the machine guns and the bulletproof glass, windshields and stuff, and of course the ejector seats. But what this car different is that it's invisible. It's an invisible car. I mean, I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff in the 80s with like Knight Rider and the short-lived show Ono Man, and the TV show Blue Thunder, when you have a silence mode for the cars. But this thing was completely camouflaged within the thing. And nobody was like real standing almond camouflage, but like completely invisible. You can't even see it unless somebody and the villain presses like a heat signature, and you see the car is a heat signature. I mean, come on. I mean, that was like one was. I mean, you usually have like silly gadgets, but at least there's some logic to those gadgets. In the previous Bonds, like the Connery films or the Roger Moore films, there's some logic to these gadgets that Q provides Bond. But in this one, it was like the stupidest thing. They have an invisible car. I mean, come on. It's like something out of Knight Rider or something. I mean, it's that dumb of a thing. And you have the whole excitement chase with an ice on the ice glacier. I thought that stuff was like with the laser from the satellite chasing Bond and melting all the ice and stuff. I thought that sequence was pretty damn good, and that's definitely, like, I feel, the best sequence in the whole movie. But of course, like I said, I can't believe we're talking about 10.5 minutes now without talking about Halle Berry's character, who plays a character named Jinx. Like I said earlier, she was probably an NSA agent, and like I said earlier, this was probably the 40th anniversary of Bond, or the Bond movies, and you see Halle Berry spoofing Ursula Andress. Of course, in Dr. No, if you've seen a review of Dr. No, she comes out of the ocean in a white bikini with a knife on her hip, or a big hunting knife on her hip. Halle Berry does the same thing, but instead of wearing a white bikini, well, she does wear a white bikini later on. But this time she wears an orange bikini with a knife on the side. And of course, there's Brosnan there. They're in Cuba, and Brosnan says, "Hey, nice view." I mean, no shit, Sherlock. Like I said, anytime you can see a girl who looks like Halle Berry, or the body that Halle Berry has, in a bikini, it's worth seeing. Like in even though the Flintstones movie that she did, she was crap. Well, the movie was crap, but you see her in that outfit. It's worth seeing. And of course, seeing her in Monsters Ball. I think it was another movie where she did a nude scene. Anytime you can see her doing either a nude scene or in a bikini, it's worth seeing, because she has an amazing body. I mean, I think she's over 50 now, but she still has such an amazing body. It's unbelievable in her age. And there's only two women that I like to see in bikini more. Is that Halle Berry and Robert Givens, in terms of black actresses, because both of them are hot, are still hot today. And of course they do, and you find out that her name is like Jinx, because she was born on Friday the 13th. I mean, so is Michael Myers, and not Michael Myers. Jason Voorhees was killed on Friday the 13th. So what, you know? And Jason Voorhees was a better killer than Halle Berry is, and she always comes up with the best one-liners. And of course, there were rumors at the time in 2016 years ago, because a lot of people were praising her character in the thing, and they wanted to see it would be cool to have like a female James Bond. And that's when they get the idea to have a female James Bond in future movies, or maybe having Halle Berry's character Jinx in a series of films. Thankfully, that it hasn't happened. And I think those movies would be a complete disaster if, no disrespect for Halle Berry, like I said, I'm a Halle Berry fan, but for her to reprise this character in a series of movies, I think it would be a big mistake. It would be huge. And thankfully they haven't done so. In the 16 years since the movie came out, they haven't done it. Of course, what happens is, of course, they do, Bond and Jinx do work together at the end of the film, and they do beat the villain, of course, because Bond, you know, every one of these movies, Bond always wins at the end, or eventually at the end of the film, on a big fight scene. And of course, you have Halle Berry and Bond starting another fight, and then in the very end of the movie, you see her in a white bikini or underwear and stuff. I mean, god damn, and you saw it 3 times in the bikini. And usually, if a Bond girl usually has maybe 1 bikini scene, perhaps 2, if Bond and the girl is going to have sex. This time, it was like 3 times. It was like the most, because I think maybe because it's Halle Berry, and Halle Berry has that great body, and I'm not saying all the other actresses have it. All the other actresses don't. It's just that they have 3 different scenes and 3 different bikinis, because there was one particular other scene where Halle Berry, when they blow up this lab, this medical lab, when they find out what's going on in the lab with the DNA resequencing and stuff, and Halle Berry's running away from the guards, from their own goons. She strips off her dress, and you see her in a bra and panties, and so that's the second time. And then, of course, the third time was at the end of the movie where Bond's having sex with her, and they have diamonds all over her body. He's sucking the diamonds out of her navel. I mean, come on. But it's, like I said earlier, this is the last time that Pierce Brosnan played Bond because he got fired. Because they decided to reboot the whole series, and they had hired Daniel Craig to play Bond for Casino Royale, which would come out, I think it was 2006, I think it was. So, at least, and originally it was supposed to have Pierce Brosnan play Bond again for that movie, but they decided to get a different actor, get another actor to play the part. So, this really, they beefed up, and you know some of the Bond movies were campy, especially the Roger Moore films. But this one was worse. I think this one was worse because at least the other ones, at least they have a plot. The ones that have over the top. I mean, they have some over the top action, but not as bad as Die Another Day. And this is, I think, it's like the worst one of the Bond films. I mean, in terms of the Pierce Brosnan ones, this is like the worst one of the Bond films. The worst one of the Pierce Brosnan films. I should repeat that. The worst Pierce Brosnan Bond film. Now, so that's my review of Die Another Day. Please click on the video, feel free to comment on. Please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel at RowdyC.com, that's all WDY, and that's C.com. On the homepage of our reviewer, Christy Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.